saw on Bray proves that all of the activity came from the mic that Charlie Kirk was wearing.
Now, a video has surfaced online, one that many are calling extremely compelling. Some even suggest it points toward the possibility of a remote-triggered device going off. Watch closely as the footage plays out. In the clip, you can see a man remove what appears to be a squib from Charlie and slip it discreetly into his pocket. Look carefully. A second man, dressed in a polo shirt, receives the squib and pockets it too. Then there's another figure, the same one previously alleged to have pressed the remote for the squib, who passes the remote to another man and then quickly exits. The first man collects the squib from the stage floor. Slow the footage down and you'll notice it. Boom, the shot. A man in blue pockets something. Another man, seemingly holding a remote, does the same. And here's the bigger question. If we stop asking questions, they win. If we quietly accept an edited version of events, we become part of the cover-up. And if we don't demand the missing footage, we're essentially signing off on someone else's rewrite of the truth. So think about this carefully. What happens when the truth isn't lost but deliberately buried? What if Tyler Robinson witnessed more than he ever revealed? And Charlie Kirk's fate became the price of that silence. I'm not here to spin a story. I'm here to bring one out of the dark. Share your thoughts in the comments as you watch this broadcast. We'll be reading and responding to feedback because your voices matter. We stand for justice. We stand for Charlie. Before there were bullets, before there were headlines, before anyone pretended to know what happened, there were moments, private moments where someone could have spoken up, someone could have warned him, someone could have stopped what came next, but no one did. If Tyler knew something, anything that never reached the public, this isn't just tragedy. This is omission, fear, a narrative shaped by the people who stayed silent and by those who made sure we were distracted. By the end of this, you won't just be asking what happened to Charlie Kirk. You'll be asking who decided you didn't deserve the truth and why Tyler Robinson's name keeps circling the edges like a shadow no one wants to see directly. Before we go any further, sit with this. If silence can kill, then whoever maintained that silence helped pull the trigger. Do you think this case is really moving forward, or is it being slowed by endless procedural delays? Drop your thoughts below. Tell us where you're watching from. And to stay updated, as new developments break, subscribe and hit notifications so you don't miss a single update. This is my channel. Together, we stand and fight for justice. Charlie Kirk wasn't just another headline. He was a central figure, a target, a symbol people could project their fears and agendas onto. Once his name became tied to that kind of narrative, the stakes shifted from abstract to blood and bone. His face made the threat real. His death, or the attempt on his life, became more than an incident. It became evidence someone wanted silenced. That framing doesn't encourage curiosity. It provokes outrage, paranoia, and loyalty. But you can't build a story on just a victim. That's where Tyler Robinson slips into the frame. Not as a hero, not as a villain, but as something far more dangerous. The unknown. He isn't accused, he isn't cleared. He's simply there, close enough to matter, quiet enough to question. A person who could have seen something, recorded something, or been told something before the rest of us even knew the clock was ticking. No one has to call him a suspect. They only have to position him on the wrong side of coincidence. A shadowy figure, a possible witness, a convenient observer. Maybe the last person to hear what Charlie said, maybe the first to understand why someone wanted him silenced. Do you think his name enters this narrative by accident? And notice this. The most critical footage is always the footage no one can seem to find. People talk about what was seen, what was heard, what was supposed to happen, but very few ask about what never made it to the public. That's where things smell off. Before Charlie Kirk even stepped onto that stage, before a mic pack ever touched his jacket, someone tested that gear. Someone clipped it on. Someone documented that check, because that's standard. There's always a first recording. Always. So where is it? Did someone film his final conversation before he walked out? Did a camera catch him adjusting the equipment? Was an assistant nearby? Were there backup feeds? A tech crew monitoring audio lines? Now people are claiming there were unseen angles, shots trimmed out, frames that never appear in any public footage, not even in the leaked clips. And that raises questions no one in charge seems eager to answer. Who handled the equipment before it went on him? Was it swapped, tampered with, passed between hands we don't see on camera? Who reviewed the recordings afterward? Why were some angles aired instantly while others disappeared as if they never existed? Because make no mistake, something was cut. Footage doesn't just vanish. It's removed, buried, flagged, or archived under a label outsiders can't request. People act like the only story worth investigating is what happened on stage. Wrong. If sabotage happened, if a device was planted, the truth lives in the moments before the spotlight hit. In the mic check, in the hallway camera, in the technician's booth, in the seconds never broadcast. And if that footage exists, then somebody made a very deliberate decision not to show it. You don't hide what doesn't matter. You hide what explains too much. Until those missing clips surface, we don't have a clean NARS. Additive, we have a crime scene with a timeline cut to fit someone else's version of events. Notice how some names don't make the headline but keep circling the edges like they were always in the room. Tyler Robinson. Not the face in front of the camera, but the name slipping through conversations like smoke. Not accused, not cleared, just present. The worst place to be when the story doesn't add up. Investigators will tell you Tyler wasn't random. He wasn't a tourist in Charlie Kirk's orbit. He had proximity, access, maybe even responsibility. That's exactly why people whisper his name instead of shouting it. Was he nearby when the mic pack was tested? Behind a camera? Close enough to overhear something he shouldn't? Was he the last non-technical person to see Charlie before he stepped into the spotlight? Or, and this is where the quiet gets loud, was he holding footage that never surfaced? Because rumors don't appear out of thin air. People are saying Tyler had a recording angle no one else did, that he was in position during the final setup, that his view captured moments the public never saw, and then conveniently, whatever he recorded doesn't show up anywhere. Not in official archives, not in leaks, not even in chopped up conspiracy clips scraping the internet's bottom. So what happened? Did someone take it? Did he hand it over? Did he stay silent, or was he silenced? You don't need to label someone a suspect to turn them into a question mark. All you have to do is link them to something that should exist, but doesn't. Tyler might be innocent. He might be terrified. He might know something and wish he didn't. But the truth is simple. If Charlie's last moments before the mic went live were captured by anyone, Tyler is the one most likely to have seen it. And until we know what he had, or who told him to bury it, his silence isn't neutral. It's suspicious. Silence doesn't make you innocent. It makes you useful. Every time the public shrugs and says, well, maybe there's nothing more, someone behind the curtain breathes a little easier. Every unasked question is a favor to whoever's holding the missing footage. And every time you accept the edited version of events, you're helping bury the unedited one. They count on fatigue. They count on distraction. They count on you assuming somebody else will dig deeper. That's how stories get rewritten. By your permission, not their power. Now tie that to Charlie Kirk. If something was planted, if sabotage was real, and if Tyler Robinson or anyone else sat on footage that could confirm it, then every second you don't demand answers helps seal the lid. You're not just watching a cover-up, you're participating by default. And here's the part no one wants to admit. If someone was forced into silence, if evidence was suppressed, if the narrative was shaped before anyone could question it, then the public isn't a bystander. They're the perfect accomplice, quiet, distracted, convinced they know enough. You think withholding information is the crime? No. The real crime is how easy it is to make you look away until you force the missing pieces into the light. You're not outside the story. You're part of the machinery that keeps the truth buried. That's how conspiracy takes root. It doesn't begin with wild claims. It begins with missing answers. Give the public a blank space and they'll start filling it themselves. And in this case, that blank space is big enough to bury a body, a motive, and a hard drive. Once the idea of a remote bomb in the mic pack hit the air, confirmation almost didn't matter. The conditions for that theory already existed. Missing footage, unnamed handlers, unanswered questions, a timeline patched together with assumptions. Add a shadow name like Tyler Robinson in to the mix. Someone with possible proximity, maybe access to unseen recordings, and suddenly the speculation doesn't feel like fiction. It feels like the only explanation no one wants to verify. Then the narrative snowballs. What if the explosion or malfunction or interference wasn't accidental? What if the mic pack was tampered with off camera? What if the footage that could prove it was scrubbed before anyone outside the circle could see it? Here's where it gets dangerous. Once people believe evidence is being hidden, every denial sounds like confirmation. Every official statement starts to look rehearsed. Every missing clip becomes proof of intent. That's how rumors stop being rumors. They become replacements for silence. And until someone produces the uncut feed, the raw audio, or the missing angles, speculation grows unchecked. Why wouldn't it? The truth only hides this hard when someone benefits from the darkness. If there's nothing to cover up, you don't start boarding up the windows. This isn't a random setup. Disappearing footage, strategic silence, whisper campaigns with no clear motive. Somebody always gains when the truth goes missing. The trick is figuring out who benefits. If Charlie Kirk's story stays fractured, start by looking at power. Charlie wasn't some background voice. He was amplified, polarizing, protected. If his fall wasn't accidental, if it was engineered, then whoever pulled strings knew exactly what removing him would do. Create a vacancy, generate chaos, tighten control over the narrative. Now enter Tyler Robinson, not as an attacker, not as a hero, but as a link. The kind of person who might not act, but might know. If he held footage, heard a conversation, saw equipment exchanged, then he's not just a bystander. He's a liability or an asset, depending on how obedient he stays. Suppressed footage doesn't only bury the past, it protects the future, someone's future. Think about who handles media clearance, who archives recordings, who decides what's too sensitive for the public. Those people don't work alone. They take direction, and direction means intent. Was Charlie stepping on the wrong toes? Was someone threatened by what he planned, said, or exposed? Was removing him, or altering the circumstances of his downfall, more useful than confronting him? And what about Tyler? Is he the silent witness being kept close? The reluctant accomplice who knows too much? The disposable name they'll blame if the truth leaks? You don't need a grand conspiracy to hide a crime, just a few people with access and a reason to shut the door. One man gone, one man quiet, someone else writing the script in their place until the missing evidence resurfaces. Every quiet character becomes part of the power play, whether they choose it or not. Here we stand inside a story held together by cuts, rumors, and silence. The people who know the most are either gone or have shut their mouths. You think that's coincidence? If Charlie Kirk's death, disappearance, sabotage, whatever version they're selling, was tied to that mic pack, then the footage before that moment is the most valuable evidence in the entire case. And the fact it's missing isn't a mystery. It's a message. Somebody made sure you'd never see it. And then there's Tyler Robinson, the name hovering just outside the official timeline, close enough to matter, quiet enough to disappear. If he saw something filmed, something, heard something, and stayed silent, he's not outside this story. He's woven into it. And here's what no one wants to say out loud. If we stop asking questions, they win. If we accept the edited version, we become part of the cover-up. If we don't demand the missing footage, we're signing off on the rewrite. So I'll leave you with this. What's more dangerous? What happened to Charlie Kirk, or what someone is trying so hard to hide about it? Until the suppressed files come to light, everyone stays under suspicion, especially those pretending they have nothing to explain. And if Tyler Robinson still holds something he hasn't handed over, then the truth isn't lost. It's being kept